Good morning, everyone. Everybody's coming on in. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Good morning. Good morning. As we get started here, just a reminder to everyone, everybody's welcome to be on camera and welcome to speak, but no requirement to. So if you care to, great. If you want to stay off camera and off mic, that's fine as well. So we're getting going here. All right.
Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Carol. Good morning.
How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Up at the cottage. And so a bit chillier than you. I know as you get in and out of your home Wi-Fi, your signal will go in and out. So
Okay, I'm just leaving the house. Okay, am I okay now?
yeah, it's
Okay,
great. It's great.
beautiful
So
day.
good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning, everybody.
Marilyn, Marilyn is on, and I believe that is the Marilyn that I know. So, Marilyn, good morning and welcome. We've got Billy, that is in here. Good morning, Billy.
Good morning.
And we've got some other folks coming in, and we'll let them in as we get going here. So
that is Dr. Marilyn Denson, and she is starting her HealthPointe program. So let's give her a cheer of encouragement.
Woohoo, Marilyn, you got this, girl. Go.
Woohoo!
well, we'll give cheers of encouragement, but it may be that Marilyn, but I think we've got two Marylands actually.
Oh, you know what? You're probably, yeah, you're right. Sorry about that.
Well, welcome to the other Marilyn, and you go too, girl.
That's right.
I love it. That's great. So, yeah, if it's a Maryland that I'm aware of, welcome, Maryland. I think you mentioned you may be traveling to Wisconsin or something like that. So, great to have you on here. Again, everybody's welcome here, whether just as an observer or a active participant. We've got David in here catching his morning sun rays. That is awesome. So, and we've got an Eileen coming in here. So
good morning, Eileen. Eileen is brand new in the business, or not in the business, in the HealthPointe program, and she is finishing up. She's going into her second day of metabolic adjustment, or add more food days, and she's doing fabulous. So let's give her a big hand and encouragement.
all right. Well,
Yeah.
I think Eileen is still kind of connecting here. I think she's probably in a minute or so here. So we'll get there. I think Eileen is connected here. So Carol, you were saying Eileen is what now?
Eileen is in her second week of metabolic adjustment. And I believe after that, her husband is going to be starting with her on her second cycle, his first. And she was sharing with me this morning, they just finished their walk because they have to be out the door, but wanted to kind of poke their head in and just listen in for a few minutes. So welcome, Eileen, and you're doing a great job. Eileen is down 16 pounds, and she's doing fabulous on her Add More Food.
Yay. All right. Way to go, Eileen. Great job. And no surprise because you've got an incredible coach, a coach to many of us in Carol. So can't get any better than that. And so congratulations. At the same time, you've got to do the work, right? We can have the best coaches out there, the best program, but you still got to do the work. So, hey, that is great. Well, we'll kind of get kicked off here as people continue to filter in here on this Saturday morning. And I guess anybody's welcome to start as we kind of go around the horn here. And again, just kind of a fresh reminder here. I mentioned it. We did have last week off, but the week before I mentioned because of the volume of people that we are pulling into these Saturday walk-in talks, we may have to go to a program of where you just kind of like raise your hand or indicate that you want to participate, because the normal cadence of just going around the horn, we will we don't have enough time in our 1 hour block to go around to everybody, but that's a good problem to have, right? It means lots of people are getting healthier, and that's what the HealthPointe program is worldwide. So with that, Carol, tell us about the beautiful weather in Florida and everything else you've got going on there.
Oh, well, it's another beautiful day in Florida. We had a lovely praise and worship on the beach last night under the sunset. It was absolutely gorgeous. And it just gives me one more kudo to HealthPointe program for creating healthy lifestyle habits many years ago that have reaped just tremendous benefits for Hank and I and so many people, such as you, Eric, and your lovely wife, Emily. I want to just real quickly, and I'm not going to take a lot of time this morning, but Hank sent me over a little YouTube by, I think it's Dr. Mandel, and he's been following him, and he was talking about foods that we eat. And of course, we're really focused in now to eating natural foods, whole foods, foods from the peripheral area of your grocery store. And so he was talking about looking at your label on your fresh fruits and vegetables. And I thought it was kind of interesting because he said the first label, and this is a new one, someone just kind of set a flag up. Good morning. This is starts with a 3. If you look on your labels, on your little veggies and fruits, they'll have like looks like a barcode and then a number. And if it starts with 3, and then you have 4 digits after that, what that now means, and this is relatively new, is now your fruits and vegetables are being sprayed with radiation or cured or whatever, protected with radiation. Protected. There's a loose term. So anyway, and that's to keep germs and pesticides and all that stuff down. But if you're like me, I don't want radiation on my food. So I was in Detweiler's the other day, and for the most part, their stuff is really good. But I happened to pick up an apple and I saw the 3 on it. And I thought, well, there you go. So I want to make you aware of looking at your label. The next label is one that is just a 4-digit, and it starts with a 4. And that is your regular pesticides. This is the ones that they've been treating for a lot of years with your general pesticides, which aren't good for you either. But anyway, that's the one that they've been using. And then there is the third one, which starts with an 8 and then 4 digits. And that one is your GMO. So if it's got an 8 on it, it is a GMO, which might look very beautiful, but doesn't have the nutrition that your last one, which starts with a 9, and that's your organic. And that's the one that you want to go for as many times as you can, because that's going to have, it's not going to have pesticides. It's not going to be GMO. And it's going to be the most nutritious for you because it's been grown naturally. So I just wanted to send that out to you. I'll probably put a little something. Excuse me, I'm walking very hard here. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I'll probably put something on paper, or maybe even send the video over. And the fruits and vegetables that you can get by on, and the ones that you definitely want to eat organic. They call them the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 13, I think it is. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. So that's it, Eric. Back to you.
Wow, that's amazing news, and quite frankly, something that I wasn't aware of, and maybe I speak for most of us in this group. Everybody can chime in on this, but I know that with Emily and I, since starting HealthPointe in 2017, I can say that despite being what I would consider a healthy eater prior to 2017, I literally think I never looked at a food label. I just never did. And now I don't know how everybody else is, but pretty much any food that I purchase, unless it's a repetitive purchase, I look at that food label, and maybe everyone else is like that as well. But having said that, I was not aware of these specifics on food labels. So that's huge. Normally what I'm looking at is, added sugars, of course, net the total carbs and stuff like that. So you're talking on, fruits and vegetables. So these would be fruits and vegetables. Let's say you get an apple and it's got usually a sticker right on it. That's the food label there.
That's correct. And just a kind of a rule of thumb, the safer ones to eat if they're non-organic, because sometimes we don't have availability, or people have to look at their pocketbooks and what have you. But the harder the core or the case around them. So like an avocado or a cantaloupe that's got a heavy case, or even a banana, the pesticides aren't going to be able to get into the flesh of the fruits or vegetables as readily. So those are a little safer to eat if you have to eat them non-organic. I also believe your cruciferous vegetables fall in the same category. Corn, because it's got a husk on it, those types of things. Good morning. Where you get into things like blueberries, strawberries, thin-skinned nectarines, peaches, thin-skinned vegetables is very, very easy for pesticides to get into the flesh of the fruit. So I would say, if you can't get it organic, definitely take something like veggie wash. I make my own with our organic LOC, and I just make a wash. Sometimes I'll just squirt it on direct, especially in an apple, although I try to buy organic apples, but and then rinse it off, wash it off really good. But yeah, if you use that as a rule of thumb, that will help you a lot.
That makes a lot of sense. And I know we Emily and I are cognizant of that when we're shopping. Like you say, if you're getting strawberries or blueberries or something like that, we're very aware and try to make the best choice that we can in terms of going organic with that, because it's anything that's put on it, it's boom, it's right there for sure. So very, very good stuff. So wow. All right. Well, we could definitely spend a lot of time on that. I'm going to turn it over to Dave. Good morning. And then Kathy, you're on deck there. And Kathy, we'll call you our step queens. We maybe when you talk about your steps, if you do this time, give for any new people or anybody that might be listening to these recordings, your methodology for getting such consistency and steps that might help people out with their schedules. So, but with that, good morning, Dave. And it's I'm not sure if you're muted or unmuted, but good morning. Dave, I think you are muted. At least I'm not hearing you.
Oh, I'm not either.
And try it again. You are muted now. I see it through your microphone. Now you're unmuted.
And now I'm unmuted.
Now we can. Good.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. And so, Carol, summary. 3 was radiation and 2 was pesticides?
No, 3 was radiation. If you have just a 4-digit number on it with no number in front, that's pesticides. That's your typical pesticides we've been eating.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll be brief. One was I spent the past weekend much of my time with Kathy, and just amazed at how she is persistent, determined, and as always appears to be able to get those 10,000 steps in. We did a fair amount of walking in the airport because she knew that the airplane was going to get home in the morning, and so she knew that she had to get it done before we get jumped on the plane. So Kathy's determination level and persistence is just amazing. Then the second thing, again, from the weekend and from the past TNT was I really have enjoyed. I've had opportunity of eating with Eric and Emily, and one of the things I found very interesting was your insights, Eric, on trends, and you're noticing that you got into the metal roofing business, and that was one of the go down that. And again, on Tuesday night, you're sharing about Pete Matt's talking about trends in our country of we've crossed $1 trillion in credit card debt in our country. The average family's lost $33,000 worth of net worth, and other statistics like that that have created a trend where people are interested in the business side of HealthPointe. And then there's HealthPointe itself, of your anecdotal experience. I think recently somebody talked about seeing a picture. I can't remember. It was people playing tennis, watching a tennis match like 20 years ago, and then watching it again today, and the size difference of the people that were in the stands. Just again, anecdotal, and just the fact that another trend is that our country is very heavy, and many people have health issues. But another anecdotal thing that Eric shared was it's his perception that years ago we're looking for pharmaceuticals to solve those problems, and in today's world, people are much more interested in taking personal responsibility for that. And so, just that HealthPointe and the Amway business are trending up, and so we're all at the right place at the right time. Thank you, Eric.
Well, thank you, Dave. Here, I talked about those trends, and I couldn't have summarized it any better myself than you did right there. So thank you. That was awesome. You're such a great. I've said repeatedly, David Dassow is the most quotable quote guy. He for Graywind, who does our editing of our walk and talks and does our walk and talk clips. I think she just immediately goes to David Dassow because she knows she's going to get gold there with David Dassow. So you are very quotable, and that is awesome. Yeah, I think of course, the most encouraging trend there is that if you go back, say, 20 years ago, I think so many people would just go right immediately to whatever that pharmaceutical was. Let's say, let's get on some metformin, or let's get on some Ozempic or something like that. And there's clearly still a lot of that. But now, additionally, more and more people, I find more and more people, when I talk with them about HealthPointe, they're already taking some sort of personal health step. Maybe they're taking supplements. Maybe they're just aware. And I think that's just the most encouraging trend in all of that, because then we can just come alongside them, help them understand the specifics of the HealthPointe program, the specifics of the Neutralite line of products, and how it compares and contrasts so strongly compared to anything that's out there on the market. So really, really great. So thank you, Dave. Kathy, you've been teed up twice here now about the Step Queen. So why don't we start by, what day is this? We're talking consecutive days in a row of getting 10,000 steps or more per day. And then tell us some more about how you do it.
Okay, so yes. So first of all, I want to thank David for being willing to hustle around the Chicago Midway airport with me at night so I could make sure that I got those 10,000 in before we got on the plane at like 10:15, because he didn't want me walking around the airport by myself because it was very, very busy. So I really appreciate that, because he was the one who helped me continue my goal. So again, we're all a team. We all work together. So yes, today is, thank goodness to that day, keeping it straight, because we didn't get off the plane until 12. So I would have been in big trouble. Is 1 year and day 169. So I was thinking about it, almost a year and a half consecutive of 10,000 steps a day. And that has been with my mother in the ER, and at 2, 3 in the morning, walking around the little ER pod over and over because I didn't know what the next day was going to hold. So yes, I am persistent. Some might call me crazy, but it's a goal. And it was a goal to do it for a year. And now it's just like, I have to continue it. I can't break this goal. The other day, my watch wasn't charging again. You can imagine how frustrated I was about that. Those of you who know me well know what was probably going through my mouth at that time. And of course, my techie husband helped me out. And he's like, well, maybe we just need to reset it, and you might lose your steps. Oh my God. But luckily I didn't lose my steps. They were still in the app. So I'm still okay, because I would have been angry if that would have happened. But anyway, okay. So yes, I do get 10,000 steps a day. It is who I am now. And I will also preface and say 4 years ago, I lost 58 pounds and I've kept it off consecutively those 4 years with the program. But in the first 4 years, I did not do 10,000 steps every day consecutively. I worked up to that. Most time, probably within the 4 years, was probably around 7,000 every day, sometimes hitting the 10,000. So don't feel like you have to go from 0 to 10 right away. You don't. It's something you build up to. Okay. Second of all, I work a full-time job. I'm an administrative assistant for an educational service company. So usually the majority of my steps Tuesday through Friday when I'm in the office happen on my lunch hour for about a half an hour to 40 minutes, depending on how quick I can eat and how quick I can get out the door. Or if the weather's bad, how quick I can get in the lobby. And I just hammer them out. So, and I remember seeing that, Eric was like, well, that's a good thing because you're walking off lunch, which is true. So, but then once I get home, if you still have a couple thousand to go, you have those chores, you have to make your lunch, you have to fold clothes. I am constantly folding clothes, walking around the house while I'm folding clothes. I will pick up a towel and walk down the hallway and fold it, and then put it in the cupboard, and then go get a washcloth. And, it might seem a little silly, but they still need to get folded, and I need to get steps. So there's a lot of places in your day that you can get steps sometimes. And sometimes you have to be proactive about it and be like, okay, I only have 4,200 steps. It's now 4:00 in the afternoon. I got to hammer out another 5,800. How am I going to do this? Oh, I have a load of clothes to fold. Okay, well, so you pick, each item of clothing, and I'm folding it as I'm walking. So I'm getting stuff done. So, and it gives me a sense of accomplishment in both things. I take care of the household chores and I'm still getting my steps. So there's a lot of ways. And people say, oh, it's cold outside. I live in Michigan. I can't walk. I hardly ever walk outside. Right now, as you can see me, I'm walking back and forth in my living room, in my kitchen. We have kind of a small ranch. There's not a lot of space to walk around, but I do it. And usually with the walk-in talks, I usually hammer out between 3,000 to 4,000 in the hour. So it can be done if you focus on it. So just keep that in mind. If you have not read the book Atomic Habits, highly, highly, highly recommend it. I've been giving that to all of my people that I've been coaching, and they've all, agreed with me. It's really changed my life. So that's it from the Step Queen, I guess. Good luck. You all can do it.
Thank you so much, Kathy. That's huge. So what people can take as a takeaway from this is it starts with a goal or a commitment. Well, I think actually prior to that, you made a point to say that you lost 58 pounds, which let's have a pause on that.
Cottage
right?
cheese and blueberries?
Yeah, we lost 58 pounds, and that during that time you weren't necessarily hitting that 10,000 steps per day. So let's put a pin in that so that people understand that that I think the important part about that, in my experience, personally, and then also coaching people, is sometimes people will feel like, hey, I ate such and such, so I will go work that off. I will go get the steps in. Hey, that's a good mindset. That's a yes, you should do that. But there's the old adage, you can't outrun the fork. Most of us have heard that or seen that, you know. And so what you're illustrating, Kathy, is that principle literally, in that given a choice between the two when you're on HealthPointe, and that is following the food and nutrition portion or following the 10 to 15,000 steps per day, could be argued that it's much better to follow tightly on your food and your nutrition than it is on the steps. Now, ideally, do them both. Ideally, do all the tenets of HealthPointe, but don't fall into the trap that you think that you can eat poorly, do nutrition poorly, and just compensate for it by walking more or doing more movement. You might get away with that, a little while, but if you look at the numbers in terms of how much working out you have to do to, compensate for a jelly donut or something, trust me, you do not want to be doing that much. So I think that's a great thing to put a pin in with you, Kathy, is that during your weight loss journey of 58 pounds of weight loss, you were not getting the 10,000 steps in per day. Now that you are and you're in lifetime maintenance, you've maintained it for how many years? 4 years?
Yeah, it was 4 years in January.
Right. So,
because I lost it from June of 2018 to January of 2019.
Wow. Awesome. All right. So that's a great takeaway there. Thank you, Kathy. So let's see. I haven't teed anyone up here, but let's say that Billy, and then Larry, and then Emily, if you want to say anything. Of course, Eileen and Marilyn, if you do as well. But, when we come around, by the way, in these walk and talks, if your name is called, we're going to just kind of give a pregnant pause, give you an opportunity to unmute and turn your camera on if you want to. If you don't want to, we'll give that pregnant pause. We'll recognize that you just want to stay muted, and we'll move on to the next person. But for now, we're going to go over to Mr. Billy Wright, and we'll go to Larry after Billy. Good morning, Billy.
Good morning. How you doing? How's everybody doing?
Doing great.
Good. Well, I just came back from the conference and feel real great. And I came back right now for the last 2 or 3 days. It's been raining. And whether it was raining or not, I have made a decision. I'm going to make some phone calls. And I did make my phone call. And I talked to some people, one girl over there in Houston. And I was telling her about where I had been and how she was doing and everything. But anyway, we struck up a conversation about Amway, and she was telling me that her mother used to buy Amway product from Amway about 20 years ago, and she want to know, is Amway still in business? I was telling her, yeah, they are very in business and a million of dollars corporation. And anyway, making a long story short, she asked me about some products, and I had to send her some literature that I had got that about the perfect water, because she was a survivor of cancer patient, and I talked to her for a long time, and she very interested in doing something with Amway right now, because she said she's been over in Houston all her life, and she thought Amway had gone out of business. I tell you, that's a $1 million operation. So right now, that was one person that I talked to, and another person that I talked to up in Detroit. he ordered some water, some perfect water. And we was on the computer last night, well, yesterday evening, and sending, getting all his information, email, and had him and his wife on the computer, uh, getting him a case of that perfect water because he needed it. And it seems like my personal opinion, 95% of the people that I talk to, they have issues and they need help. So that's what we did last night. So we came back, we ordered a case of water for a friend of mine, and we start up on the right foot. That's it for today.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Billy. My internet cut out for a moment there, but I caught the large part of what you covered there. By the way, it was great to see Billy. You know, you see people in Zoom, and it's been a while since I'd seen Billy and saw him the other day. You are one fit dude, Billy. You are super fit. That is awesome.
Thank you.
Really, really great. And just for any new people out there that are either on this call for the first time or maybe listening to a recording for the first time and you're new, let me define some terms here. So if you hear someone say, we were at a weekend, you might be thinking, well, I don't understand what you're saying. How are you at a weekend? A weekend is a weekend. It's Saturday. We're at a weekend. Okay, what is meant by that is a conference. Okay, we're at a conference. So if you hear someone say that we're at a weekend, that's what that means. It was an educational conference. Sometimes it's referred to as a weekend. Another thing that you might hear thrown around is a term called TNT, and we're on a TNT. Okay, you might be wondering, what does that mean? You know, is there dynamite? Well, it is dynamite, but TNT is an acronym for Tuesday night training. Tuesday night training is what TNT means. So then Billy just now was referring to perfect water. And you wonder, what is that? It kind of sounds like just we're talking about water. No, this is actually a product that's called Perfect Water. And I won't try to duplicate what the legendary Hank Zampa covered in terms of that product. That is on a recording that you can listen to, but it is an incredibly, it's a highly filtered, it's an oxygenated form of bottled water that can be purchased. And it's incredible. So when you hear the term perfect water, so guys, any new people that are out there, this is like any industry. If you're in carpentry, if you're in software development, if you're an accountant, if you're a lawyer, you have kind of, you know, when the group of similar people in the same industry get together, they throw around terminology that makes sense to the inside people and sometimes to the people that are just learning to become a carpenter or a lawyer or accountant. You spend half your time trying to sort out what some of these acronyms are and some of the descriptive terms. So we'll do our best to try to explain what those mean as they come in, but that's what that means by weekend. Again, weekend is a conference. Those of us that are active, involved in HealthPointe as a business operation, we routinely attend 3 quote unquote weekends per year, 3 conferences per year, one in the spring, one in the summer, and one in the fall. And a number of us were just at the fall conference. So that's a little bit of housekeeping there for what it's worth. Sorry for the boring housekeeping there, but I will move along to, I think I said Larry, if Larry chooses to unmute. And yes, there's Larry. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hey, listen, you know what? Today I'm going to be transparent, okay? I'm going to let you know something and let you know my weakness. And you know, in our HealthPointe program, it's not the food or the food choices. It's not the steps. It's not the water. Can you guess what my challenge is with the HealthPointe program? I'm gonna tell you. It is the food journal. You know, the thing that has become very helpful is writing down what we eat. And as my coach David said, anything that goes past your lips, you need to put on your list. Okay. And you know, I don't know what the challenge is. Maybe because I'm a teacher, I was a teacher and did lesson plans and worked from lesson plans every day and writing stuff down all the time. I don't know what the challenge is. However, writing things down and keeping track of them, you know, has been a little challenge for me, because sometimes we think that we'll remember the things that we ate during the day, and we go through the day and we forget to write them down, and then we have to go back track in our mind to think, okay, what did I have today, as we're writing down each thing that we're eating. And sometimes I would forget what things I ate during the course of the day. And so if I waited till the end of the day and try to go back in my mind and backtrack and try to remember which things I ate, I'm sure I would leave off little things that I ate during the course of the day. And then as I have those notes and I have those food journal pages, the other side of it is that now I can look back and see what things I did that was helpful to me, what things were a challenge, and I have a record of it. And then I now know which things to quickly go to in order to adjust and get back to where I was on the program. So I don't know whether anybody else, my uplines will tell you, David, Carol, they'll tell you, hey, his keeping track of those things is something that he's continuing to work on. So anyway, I don't know whether anybody else is having that challenge. I just made it transparent about my challenge. And if anybody runs into that, then maybe they'll remember what I said. Okay, thank you very much, Eric. And that's all I have to add.
Well, I'll tell you, your transparency hits a mark with me, and it big time. So full transparency, that would be my personal weakness as well. And I'm going to circle back around to that aspect of journaling, because it's such an important part when my time kind of comes up here. I'd like to spend a little time on that. So thank you, Larry, for that. We're going to go around the horn here. Emily, if you'd like to chime in, we'll give kind of a little bit of a pause here and wait for you if you'd like to. And while we're waiting for you on a yes or no, I think next would be Hank, if Hank is going to be available. But first, Emily, anything there from Emily? Okay, so it sounds like Emily is listening. Now, I could go downstairs. I'm in the loft of our cottage. I could actually just go downstairs and ask her personally. This is so funny on Zoom. So, all right.
The world of technology.
Isn't it something? Yep. So, all right, Emily, I guess nothing for the moment from you, but we will move on then to Hank. Hank, if you're interested, there's Hank. Hello, Hank.
Good morning, everybody. Good to listen to
Morning.
you. Well, listen, I'm glad that Carol shared that information about the food labels. When I came across that, that was all news to me also. That was really great information. So glad she shared that with you. And yeah, since some of you touched being away on the weekend, you know, we were there also. It was great to see all of you. It was fabulous. But, you know, I'm on long-term maintenance. I lost 25 pounds many years ago, and I've kept it off, all right? Because I've established a routine, and that really works well for me. And one of the routines is my morning shakes with the different berries. Now, I didn't have access to the berries on that weekend, okay? We were gone for 4 days. And I noticed such a huge difference in the way I felt because my system is used to those berries, these berry shakes with the protein powder and everything else. And I missed that. I had the perfect water because we shipped the case over to, we have a brother-in-law living in Oklahoma, so he met us and he had the case for us, and that really helped. But I didn't have the berry shakes. But when I got back home, jumped back on those babies, in about 2 days' time, I started getting my body back to normal, the way it felt good, because we need fruit, and I'm not the kind of guy that sits there and eats fruit. I can mix them in a shake in the morning. All the different berries is exactly what I need, and I do that twice a day. So, anyway, I just want to share that with you. But everybody sounds great. So proud of all of you, and the guys stay on. It works. And once you get done with losing the weight that you want to lose, then you establish a routine for yourself, which I just did this morning. For example, I had my focus and energy rhodiola first, right off the bat with perfect water. And then after that, I had my probiotics and the fiber with the perfect water again, and to get my system going in the right direction. And then I'll be making my fruit shake right now very shortly, uh, my smoothie, I call them, and it gets my day going. So anyhow, proud of all of you. Keep it up, guys. It's all about your health. If you don't have your health, I don't care how much money you have, you don't have anything, because it's what it's all about. It's good to get up in years, to be healthy, and enjoy life. All right. Keep it up, guys. Proud of all of you. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you, Hank. And so I'll share some things regarding Hank. Again, anybody that's new or maybe listening to this that's new, something that Hank will routinely share, Hank and Carol. So I'm not speaking out of school here. I'll say, Hank referred to the fact that he lost 25 pounds a number of years ago. He's in lifetime maintenance. That is the goal of HealthPointe, is not to stay in menu plan days, but to get to your goal, get into lifetime maintenance like Hank. And Hank just recently, we talk about significant birthdays, 50, 60. Hank just celebrated 90. And the guy is sharp as a tack. And the other thing is that, and he has vocalized this before, as well as Carol, they go into, their routine checkups at their doctors, and these doctors want to take a picture of them and literally make them their poster child and put them on the wall, because although they're probably not too profitable for the doctors, because they have zero meds, okay? Zero meds at 90 years old, and Carol, zero meds as well. So, and sometimes, different conditions in life requires medications outside of what you can control. But if you're, literally looking at Carol out doing her walk this morning, and Hank talking about what his daily routine is in terms of his intake, guys, this is not by accident that they're able to have this kind of energy and vibrancy, and, to put a dent in the profits of the pharmaceutical industry. So that is so great. So again, for any of you that are new, make note of that. We all say when we grow up, we want to be just like Hank and Carol. So full of energy and wit and wisdom and passion and energy. That is so great. So we will continue around the horn here. I'll kind of tee myself up, but I will give an opportunity in the event that Marilyn, who I think it's the Marilyn that I know, wants to say anything. We'll give a bit of a pregnant pause. If not, Marilyn, you can just stay off camera and on mute as well, but we'll give you an opportunity. I'll just brag on Marilyn briefly, and then she can chime in maybe at some point in the future. But Marilyn is on her first 6-week cycle, and she is tracking incredibly well. She's hit the expected numbers and then some. And one thing that she pointed out to me the other day was how excited she is about her blood sugar. Her blood sugar, again, I won't give specific numbers here. I'll just let her at some point, if she cares, to chime in, but we'll just say that her blood sugar was, up here, and now it's down here. And so that's what you want. You want to get off the blood sugar roller coaster. You want to feed your body with good whole food, good nutrition, and take the peaks and troughs out of that blood sugar. And that will do a number of things. That will reduce cravings because it's when you go hypoglycemic that you start really getting hungry, or as we call it, hangry, where you get that emotional, the anger, the hunger. That's from your plummeting blood sugar. So you want to keep that nice and level. And just, the overall metabolic systems that's happening when your body is secreting, bursts of insulin out of your pancreas, and then it's flooding your system and it's dropping down. You do that over and over and over, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. That is not a healthy state for your body. Your body is healthier at a healthy blood sugar level, and they kind of taking out the peaks and troughs of that blood sugar roller coaster. And she's experiencing that. And yes, we pay attention to the weight loss because it correlates. But when you can, in her case, poke your finger and take a drop of blood and take that reading and have that outcome, I understand why she's excited about that. And kudos to you, Marilyn, on that. So
can I give a congratulations? I'm sorry to butt in, Eric, but I want to congratulate Marilyn. Eric's been sharing with me how well you're doing. And I just want to say we are so excited for you to be on this call and to be really tracking the program with Eric. Eric, of course, you all know, you can hear just by what comes out of him. He knows his stuff. He knows HealthPointe, and he knows how to help you not only get, but maintain your health. And that's the most important thing, is the maintenance. Getting there, one, maintaining for the rest of your life, two. So congratulations to you, Marilyn, on making a great choice. And congratulations to Eric on being just number one coach as far as I'm concerned. So glad to have you on.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Carol. And kudos again to you, Marilyn. Again, we talk about, hey, the HealthPointe 6-week cycle program is a phenomenal system. The coaches can really come alongside that and help with the day-to-day implementation and answering questions, but you've got to do it, right? And so, the spotlight is on you for doing a great job getting that blood sugar dialed in, and of course the pounds are melting off as well. So I will kind of go around the horn here to Eileen. Eileen may want to stay muted and off camera, or may want to speak. It's up to you, Eileen. We'll give a pregnant pause for you.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
We can. Good morning, Eileen.
So I'd love to talk because I like to talk, so I'm going to try to not talk too much. But I've been on the program now for 34 days. I'm in the metabolic adjustment time, and I am just so happy. And if I could turn my video on, I would. I can't figure this out. It thinks I'm in safe driving mode, so I got to figure that out for the future. But I met Carol at a Bell's. We were shopping, and I was complaining about how I looked. I'm going to Italy. I can't find anything, blah, blah, blah. And she told me about the program, and I met up with her, and I looked at it. I'm like, no, I can't. That's just too hard. And she said, well, I'll talk to you. Like, we're going to be gone for 2 months. I'll talk to you when you get back. And I'm like, okay. So that's what we did. And I thought about it. I used to do a really healthy program. I don't know, in 2009, I was really healthy, and I almost died of a heart attack. So I struggled a lot with everything. And that was in my 40s. So I decided this was really healthy and I wanted to try it. And I feel like, I've told Carol this, I feel like I got me back. I've lost 17 pounds so far. But more than that, I like the healthy food again. I eat cottage cheese. I'm like, oh, it's so good. And I mean, I wasn't like that 34 days ago. So, and I'm walking 10,000 steps after the first couple of weeks. It took me a while to build up, but I'm just so happy. I can't even say how happy I am. That's my story.
Wow.
We welcome you, Eileen, and we share in your joy because we know that your joy and Bruce's is going to be a joy you're going to share for the rest of your life. So welcome, and you're doing a fabulous job.
Welcome and congrats, Eileen. That's
Thanks.
awesome. At day 34, doing 10,000, quite a bit more than I did my first 30 days. I'm going to admit that for sure.
I have it as a goal, and I was looking through my steps, and I'm like, when I first started, some days I was at 9,000. Like, why didn't I walk around the living room and get 10? That was dumb. now I have to hit 10, of course. So
yep, someday you'll be like me and be in the airport and be like, oh my God, we don't get home until the next day. I got to get these done now.
Yeah, well, we did that on vacation. And you know what's awesome? We went on vacation with family and they could all eat ice cream. They had 3 half gallons of ice cream going all the time. And I'm like, have it. I love ice cream, but I'm like, no, I'm determined. This is so awesome. This program is helping me so much.
That's so great, Eileen. And you mentioned something there, and maybe it didn't play into the ice cream, but you mentioned something earlier about the cottage cheese and that you kind of like that. One of the things that kind of sneaks up on a lot of folks that have done HealthPointe and later you learn about it is that literally our taste buds do change as we change what we're eating. And it sounds like maybe you've experienced that to a certain degree with maybe the cottage cheese. But the example I give is that prior to HealthPointe in 2017, Emily and I, well, I'll just speak for myself. If I had a salad with a meal, it was because I wanted to feel less guilty. So it was not that I wanted a salad. It was I would have this silly little side salad so that I could say that I had a salad, but it certainly wasn't what I wanted. And so later, after doing HealthPointe, and a salad might be some deep dark greens, some protein, maybe some chicken, some egg, maybe some both, some vegetables in there, a little bit of a fruit maybe. I refer to it as my ugly green bowl that I put that in, and I can tell you, literally, I would rather have that than a Subway sandwich. I would rather have that certainly than a McDonald's. There is not any deprivation feeling. I literally, if I had a choice, even if it cost me more to have that salad, I would do that out of desire, not out of how I felt prior to HealthPointe, where my cravings were for like Subway sandwiches or a McDonald's or something like that. So I think, Carol will certainly, guide you and help you with this, but I think you're already experiencing it. And that is your body will start craving those healthy foods. So again, congratulations, 17 pounds in 34 days, moving into your metabolic adjustment, to your add more food days. Awesome. How great is that, guys, right?
Yeah.
And I also want to say Carol is awesome. She's been just a wonderful support to me. Amazing. Honestly, just amazing. That's what makes the program too.
It really does. So, well, thank you, Eileen. And so a couple of things I wanted to talk about. One, I'll mention about what I wanted to talk about, and then I'll kind of circle back to Larry and maybe round robin this a little bit. And then after we wrap that up, if we still have some time left, I'd like to turn it back over to you, Carol, to wrap up our time here this morning. But what I wanted to focus on is there's a pro tip within HealthPointe that even when you're in lifetime maintenance, but certainly while you're in your menu plans, we all know of what we do, or you can opt to do, you can choose to do on a Monday, right? I mean, if I round robined it and I said, what stands out in everybody's mind about a Monday as it relates to food, I think everyone would
say protein day.
Exactly. We all know it, right? We know about our protein day. And what are we doing is basically if there has been any kind of indulgence and so forth, there's a well, a short-term storage of glycogen or glucose stored in the liver in the form of glycogen. And so one protein day at the start of the week is just a good habit pattern to kind of clear that out and get you into that more healthy metabolic state. And so we talk about that. And we don't think of it as a detoxing. I think you throw around that term, it makes it think like you've got so much toxins in you. I don't think it's that, but it is kind of clearing it out. But what I'm going to be doing, and I think, we do with HealthPointe, but I'm going to be more deliberate about it, is just like once a week, we have a physical cleanse like that. We do a Monday protein. I'm going to do a mental detox. And that is, and maybe it also can come after a weekend, where, and I'm talking not a weekend conference, I'm talking a weekend as in Saturday and Sunday. Maybe your schedule is a little bit off. Maybe you've had some different exposures with people or processes or something like that. But I took a walk just the other day and I tuned into audios. And normally when I do a walk, I might go for 45 minutes. It's about 5,000 steps. And whether I'm doing that inside the house, like Kathy's talking about, sometimes I'm going up and down stairs. Sometimes I'm not listening to an audio. I'm doing things, various asynchronous communications, coaching people and so forth, checking WhatsApp messages, checking Facebook Messenger messages, getting replies back. And, in our coaching model, I personally don't do a lot of live phone calls or anything else like that. Most of it is asynchronous. And so I batch it and get back with everybody at that time. But boy, the other day I did a longer walk. I just wanted to walk further. I was enjoying myself for one thing. And I had some audios queued up and I just continued to listen to them. It was about double the time. It was about an hour and a half. And again, would I do this every day? Probably not. But could I build it into once a week to re-fortify my mind after maybe a weekend, a Saturday and Sunday, or whatever series of days of, kind of maybe not the best orientation, the best focus, the best thinking. I just can't tell you how great I felt mentally, emotionally, after getting an hour and a half of a constant cadence of not me and my own thoughts. There's a time and a place for that, but rather letting somebody else's thoughts, somebody else's teachings just stay in my ear for an hour and a half. And so, if you're involved in the HealthPointe program, you might be wondering, well, what kind of audios or content can you be consuming? There's certainly, and you can talk with your coach about this, there's certainly lots and lots and lots of audios that are available through a training program that many of us are part of. It's formulated by Network 21. Network 21 is a global organization that supports business owners like ourselves. And there's other business owners that are speaking at conferences, and it's being recorded and edited. And there's a tremendous amount of content on everything from just psychology to attitude to specifics about HealthPointe. And to have somebody just speaking into your ear for that length of time is wonderful. So there's certainly that you can actually get on a platform through Network 21 and have access to them directly. But again, if not, your coach can provide some links or playlists to you. And then the other thing that I would point to is our Voices of HealthPointe YouTube channel. For example, this session here, there will be some editing. It's available either in clips or in full-length version on our Voices of HealthPointe YouTube channel. There's various playlists in there, and you pick your source. Maybe it's something outside of HealthPointe. Maybe it's something outside of our YouTube channel. Maybe it's some favorite author. Maybe it's some doctor. Maybe it's Dr. Peter Attia. Maybe it's Dr. Robert Lustig. Maybe it's Dr. Casey Means. But I just, and I'm not new to this concept of, filling your mind with good content. It's just that I'm usually doing it increasingly, it seems like, in smaller and smaller segments, right? Because there's so much, and then, you have so many things that you're doing that I'm catching 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there. And that's kind of like going through a week on the HealthPointe program where we're eating properly, we're doing the right things, and we don't want to make it too difficult. But there are times in HealthPointe, for example, with our protein days, maybe one day a week, where you kind of double down on it. You just build it into a cadence, into your habit structure, that every Monday you do a protein day, and you're kind of cleaning out your system and kind of retooling for the week. And personally, I'm just speaking for me personally, I'm going to build in that daily cadence of just once a week doing an extra long amount of audio content that's going to be going into my brain. And just like the Monday protein day, this is kind of a Monday mental day. And I think I'll get great value from that. So I wanted to comment on that. And then I think I'll just kind of turn it over to you, Carol, because we are kind of wrapping up here on our time here. And maybe next week we'll circle back around on, I do want to pick up on what Larry was talking about as far as food journaling and logging and stuff like that, because I think that was a great transparent comment that Larry made. But we'll table that maybe for next week or a future time. And Carol, I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, thank you, Eric, and thank you for putting and facilitating this wonderful Saturday morning session. I can't think of a person that has not really sent so many kudos to you for putting this together, and all the other stuff that you do, the Voices of HealthPointe, the Facebook page, all of these things. We really, really appreciate that. And in listening to everybody today, I think one of the most exciting things I hear is the word accountability brings out. Now, the word hasn't been used, but the message is really, really strong. Folks are becoming accountable to themselves. And ultimately, that's what has to happen. And you want to definitely work very closely with your coach, especially in the very beginning, but right along. Do not drop your coach. But also, I think the people that really are being successful on it, and you heard success stories today, are the ones that took accountability. They took personal responsibility and said, I've got to do this because this is what I'm going to benefit from. It's not going to be, I got to have somebody chase after me to make sure I journal. No, the people that are successful are journaling. I'm sure Eric will say the same thing, and other people on the call. We don't have to chase after you every day. There's the journal. And so it's that responsibility. But I love your Monday protein day, and we all know about that. That's kind of detoxing or flushing off the excess carbs in our body. But I think also let's make Monday a mental detox. And like Eric said, just take that extra time. I think that's great. And I've got a little thing. The weekend set me behind a little bit, so I've got to get on it. But maybe some 21 suggestions, a 3-week period, and you can go back and listen to specific audios. But I think number 21 and HealthPointe take care of that very well on a day-to-day basis in just a small snippet at a time. Again, it's the habit of listening to an audio to feed something into your brain, because we all know that there's family members, there's issues happening in the world, there's job issues, there's all kinds of things that are being thrown at us. And just a couple of minutes of centering back onto HealthPointe and back onto your mind of, yes, this is where I'm going and this is what I'm going to do. And the rest will take care of itself. I've got to keep this the first thing, the main thing. And Number 21's messages, HealthPointe messages of every day through the 6-week cycle is so fabulous. And again, thank you, Eric. And thank you, Beth, for doing the verbal on that, so that we can be going around our neighborhood walking or wherever we're doing, and we can be listening to those messages, or we can be reading them off of our Network 21 HealthPointe app. So again, thank you and congratulations to everybody on taking accountability of your not only your health future, but your financial future too, the future of your happiness, your well-being. It's all one big package. So with that, I'm going to turn you over to you, Eric, and I'm in front of the American flag. God bless America.
Yeah, I love that background imagery there, where you often know we're kind of coming to a close here on things, and then they have that wonderful background of the beautiful American flag. So thank you on that.
Yeah, where's
guys?
that?
Once again, it's been a fabulous Saturday walk and talk. Thank you, everyone, for all the contributions, the new people chiming in, all the tips and tricks. Hey, guys, happy Saturday, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye for now. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. See you then.
Hey, Eric.
Bye-bye.
Everybody have a great weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.